You've taken a very bold stance against anti-Semitism that has reared its head, as you said, in Europe. You don't allow it, you don't tolerate it. You recognize that anti-Semitism today is masked by the guise of anti-Zionism. You adopted the IRA definition of anti-Semitism, which says that if you're against the Jewish state, you're anti-Semitic. You can't say, well, I'm not against Hungarians, I just don't think there should be a Hungary. I'm not against Jews, I just don't think there should be a Jewish state. That's what these anti-Semites are doing. And without a Jewish state, there's no Jewish people. So your position on anti-Semitism, both inside Hungary and outside Hungary, is one that others should adopt as well.
Lara Elborno is a Palestinian-American lawyer and activist. She joins us live from Paris. Lara, thanks for being with us. I want to ask you about Netanyahu's comments. We heard there that Viktor Orban has, quote, taken a bold stance against anti-Semitism in his defiance of the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant. What do you make of those comments?
Well, this is about Israel's extermination and starvation of the Palestinian people, which is not a secret. It has been broadcast to the world every single day for the last 544 days. And Netanyahu admits to what Israel is doing. For the last few days, we've seen him explicitly tweeting his plans to commit forcible transfer of the Palestinian people and to carry out unlawful annexation of Palestinian land. And let's not forget how we got here. After over 900 documented Israeli ceasefire violations, Netanyahu shattered the so-called fragile ceasefire on March 17th through the resumption of heavy bombardment in Gaza to get out of a hearing in his corruption trial on the same day. And every day since, we have witnessed the images and videos of massacres in Gaza. Yesterday, a mother witnessed her children burn in front of her following an Israeli airstrike on a UN clinic. Her 2-week-old girl named Emel was decapitated from the strength of the bombs. It's a deeply unserious and disingenuous proposition to frame Hungary's move in this moment as anything other than promoting impunity for the genocide of our time.
And what do you make of, we've been watching images there of Netanyahu being welcomed in Hungary, a red carpet literally rolled out for him. What do you make of that, given the atrocities that you mention and the fact that I think today the death toll in Gaza surpassed 50,500 and Israel has been bombing tents housing displaced people?
Hungary is rewarding Israel for its genocide in Gaza. It's rewarding Israel for its continued colonization of Palestine and its expressed plans to forcibly transfer the Palestinian people from their land. But let's consider for a moment, Hungary's comments that the ICC is acting in a politically motivated manner. In order to accept that premise, you would have to accept that there's no evidence to support the basis of the arrest warrants. But as I mentioned, for 544 days, Palestinian journalists have risked their lives to show the world the evidence, and the evidence has reached all corners of the world. So nobody can say they didn't know. There is an overwhelming consensus by human rights organizations, scholars of genocide and state crime, UN experts, and international lawyers that Israel has violated every single international norm in Gaza. And thousands of pages of evidence have been submitted before the International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice. Victims have come forward with photos, videos, and testimonies. Gaza has become a land of superlatives of suffering because of Israel's international breaches. Just today, I read that Gaza is facing the largest orphan crisis in modern history as a result of Israel's campaign. So the only thing that would be politically motivated would have been for the court, in the face of such evidence, to ignore it.
Do you think, given all of this and the fact that this is his second international visit after visiting the state since the warrant was issued, do you think Netanyahu is likely to face trial in the ICC ever?
Well, the answer to that, of course, will depend on the states themselves who are responsible for implementing the ICC arrest warrants. Are they determined to let international justice die, or will they abide by their international obligations to uphold the law and cooperate with the ICC to bring perpetrators to justice? But I want to emphasize that even if Netanyahu is arrested, it's not clear whether this would necessarily trigger a different policy for Israel vis-a-vis Palestinians. He is surrounded by individuals who would not hesitate to maintain such policies. And so long as the weapons and money keep flowing from the United States, so long as Israel remains unsanctioned, there is not likely to be any significant policy change. But I think here it's also important to remind that even outside of the ICC framework, every state is under an obligation to apply sanctions to Israel in general for its illegal occupation of Palestinian land. That is what is required to comply with the International Court of Justice's ruling from July 2024. And this is what we also must be talking about in this moment.
Lara Elborno, Palestinian-American lawyer and activist, thank you so much for your time.